So here's a thought. What if you handed over the keys to your entire day to artificial intelligence? I mean everything, from the moment you wake up to the moment you go to sleep. What would you wear? What would you eat? How would you get your work done? It's a wild idea, but as someone who spends a lot of time thinking about tech, I had to try it. For a full 24 hours, I decided to let a suite of AI tools make all my decisions. No human input, just pure, unfiltered algorithmic guidance. The goal was to see just how far AI has come. Is it a genuinely useful partner, or is it still just a cool gimmick? The results were interesting, to say the least. The plan was simple. I'd use a different AI for different tasks throughout the day. For my schedule, an AI productivity app. For my emails, an AI writing assistant. For creative work, tools like ChatGPT and Midjourney. I even planned to let AI choose my lunch and tell me a joke. It felt like setting up an elaborate tech experiment where I was the main variable. The big question on my mind was whether this would make my day more efficient and productive, or if it would descend into total chaos. Honestly, I was ready for either outcome. It's all about pushing the limits of the technology we have right in front of us. This isn't just about whether an AI can book a meeting or draft an email. We already know it can do that. This is about the bigger picture. Can AI understand context, nuance, and even personal preference? Can it be a true co-pilot for your life? Or does it just follow a rigid set of instructions, missing the human element that makes our days, well, human? I wanted to find out if I'd end the day feeling like I had a superpowered assistant, or if I'd feel like I was just following orders from a very smart but very detached machine. The experiment was officially on. Let's be clear, I went all in. No cheating. If the AI told me to do something, I did it. This commitment was crucial to see the real potential and the real pitfalls. It's easy to use AI as a simple tool, picking and choosing when it's convenient. It's a whole other thing to surrender your autonomy to it. I was curious to see how it would handle the unstructured, unpredictable parts of a normal day. Would it be a seamless experience, or would I find myself constantly fighting the system? Let's dive into how it all went down, starting with the very first challenge, the morning routine. My day started not with my usual alarm, but with a notification from an AI productivity app I'd set up the night before. I had fed it my typical goals: film a video, answer emails, plan a new project. Its first task for me was a 6:30 a.m. wake-up call, followed by a 15-minute mindfulness session. This was already a change of pace. I usually jump right into checking tech news or emails. The AI insisted that starting with mindfulness would increase my focus for the rest of the day. So I found a guided meditation on YouTube, as suggested, and gave it a shot. It was surprisingly calming, even if my mind kept drifting back to my to-do list. Next up on the AI-generated schedule was a high-intensity interval training workout. The app even provided a link to a specific routine. This was more in my wheelhouse, but the AI's choice of exercises was a bit random. A mix of burpees, lunges, and some weird plank variations I'd never seen before. I followed along, trusting the algorithm knew what was best for my peak physical performance. After the workout, the schedule prompted a nutrient-dense breakfast, providing a recipe for a kale and protein smoothie. It wasn't my usual bowl of cereal, but I had to stick to the plan. I blended it up, and it tasted green, very green. The most interesting part of this AI-planned morning was its strict time blocking. Every single activity was allocated a precise number of minutes. 15 for mindfulness, 25 for the workout, 20 for breakfast, and prep. There was no room for deviation. This rigid structure felt both incredibly efficient and slightly suffocating. I'm used to a more fluid morning, where I can spend a little extra time on something if I feel like it. The AI, however, was all about optimization. It was trying to squeeze every last drop of productivity out of my morning hours, which I can respect. By the time the AI told me it was time to start my workday at 8 a.m. sharp, I felt different. I was definitely awake and energized from the workout, and the smoothie was sitting in my stomach like a dense brick of health. The mindfulness session did leave me feeling a bit more centered than usual. So far, the AI was doing a decent job of playing the role of a very demanding, but perhaps very effective personal coach. The real test, however, was yet to come. It was time to see how this digital overlord would handle my inbox, a place where chaos often reigns supreme. My inbox is usually a mountain I have to climb every morning. It's filled with everything from urgent partnership emails to PR pitches to questions from the team. Normally, I have a system for sorting through it. Today, however, I handed the reins over to an AI email assistant. I gave it access and a few simple prompts. Categorize all emails by urgency. Draft replies for any common questions. Flag anything that needs my immediate personal attention. I sat back and watched as the AI went to work. And honestly, it was kind of magical to see it organize the chaos in real time. The AI sorted my emails into neat folders: urgent, team updates, pitches, and general inquiry. This alone saved me a good chunk of time. Then it started drafting replies. For common questions like "what camera do you use?" or "can we send you a product for review?" it generated polite, professional responses that were about 90% ready to go. I just had to give them a quick once-over, add a small personal touch, and hit send. This was a huge efficiency boost. The AI handled the repetitive stuff, freeing me up to focus on the emails that actually required my brain power. However, it wasn't perfect. The AI struggled a bit with nuance. For example, it flagged a casual email from a friend as low priority because it didn't contain any business-related keywords. It also tried to draft a formal, corporate-sounding reply to a joke message from a member of my team. I had to manually intervene to correct these, reminding myself that AI is a tool, not a mind reader. It understands patterns and keywords, but it doesn't always get the subtext or the relationships behind the messages. It was a good lesson in the importance of human oversight. Still, after about an hour, my inbox was cleaner than it had been in weeks. The AI had cleared out the clutter, answered the easy questions, and presented me with a short, manageable list of emails that needed my full attention. I probably saved at least 45 minutes of my morning. As a tool for initial triage and handling repetitive tasks, the AI email assistant was a clear win. It's not going to replace the human touch needed for important conversations, but as a first line of defense against an overwhelming inbox, it's incredibly powerful. The experiment was off to a strong start. With my inbox conquered, the AI schedule told me it was time for creative brainstorming. My task was to outline a script for a new video about the future of smartphone design. Typically, this process involves me, a whiteboard, and a lot of messy handwriting. Today, my brainstorming partner was ChatGPT. I started with a simple prompt. Give me 10 video ideas about the future of smartphones. The list it generated was solid. It included topics like foldable screens, under-display cameras, portless phones, and AI integration. These were all relevant ideas, a great starting point. I decided to dig deeper on the topic of AI's role in future smartphones. I asked ChatGPT to create a script outline with 3 main sections: an intro, key talking points, and a conclusion. It spat out a structured outline in less than a minute. The intro had a hook, the body had bullet points covering things like on-device processing and personalized user experiences, and the conclusion summarized the main ideas. It was a clean, logical framework. It wasn't the final script, of course, but it was a fantastic skeleton to build upon. It took care of the structural heavy lifting. This is where the human element came back in. The AI's outline was logical, but it lacked my voice. It was generic. So I took the AI-generated structure and started to flesh it out, adding my own analysis, anecdotes, and opinions. I used the AI as a sort of Socratic partner. I'd ask it things like, what are the counter-arguments to portless phones? Or explain the technical challenges of under-display cameras in simple terms. It would provide the information, and I would weave it into the script in my own style. It was less like cheating and more like having a tireless research assistant. The process was surprisingly effective. The AI provided the speed and the structure, while I provided the personality and the critical thinking. It cut my usual brainstorming and outlining time in half. I wasn't staring at a blank page trying to figure out where to start. The AI gave me a launchpad, and I was able to get to the more creative parts of script writing much faster. It showed me that AI doesn't have to replace creativity. It can actually accelerate it by handling the more formulaic parts of the process, leaving more mental energy for the good stuff. Every video needs a great thumbnail. It's honestly the first thing people see, so it really has to be eye-catching. For this experiment, I decided to let an AI image generator, like Midjourney or Canva's AI, take a shot at being my art director. My prompt was super specific. YouTube thumbnail for a video about future smartphones. A glowing, transparent, holographic smartphone in someone's hand. Futuristic, clean, minimalist background. High-tech, blue and purple lighting. 16:9 aspect ratio. I hit enter and just waited to see what the AI would cook up. The first few results were okay. They captured the general idea, but well, some details were definitely off. One image had a hand with 6 fingers, a classic AI art quirk. Another made the phone look more like a block of glass than a functional device. But after a few tweaks to my prompt, adding terms like photorealistic and sleek design, the AI started to produce some seriously impressive options. It generated 4 new images, and one of them was almost perfect. It had the right vibe, the right lighting, and a phone that looked both futuristic and believable. Honestly, it was better than some stock photos I could have spent hours searching for. Next, I needed some background visuals, or B-roll, for the video itself. Instead of filming everything, I asked the AI to create some abstract animations. I used a different tool for this, one that can generate short video clips from text prompts. I entered things like abstract animation of data flowing through circuits and slow zoom into a microchip. The results were these hypnotic, swirling patterns of light and lines that would work perfectly as background visuals. Creating these myself would have taken hours in a complex program like After Effects. The AI did it in minutes. Of course, there are limitations. The AI couldn't create a specific shot of a real, unreleased phone. It can only generate things based on the data it's been trained on. But for conceptual and abstract visuals, it's honestly an incredible tool. It can create a mood and a style instantly. For a creator, this means you can produce high-quality visuals without needing a massive budget or a team of graphic designers. It really democratizes the creation of visual content. My AI art director wasn't perfect, but it was fast, cheap, and surprisingly creative. The visual assets for my video were now ready to go. When noon rolled around, my AI schedule popped up a notification lunch break. Instead of just letting me grab my usual sandwich, the AI had a task for me. I had to ask ChatGPT, what should I eat for lunch? I have chicken, rice, lettuce, tomatoes, and onions in my fridge. I want something healthy and quick to make in under 20 minutes. I was honestly curious to see what it would come up with. I was half expecting it to just say make a salad, but its response was more creative than that. The AI suggested a deconstructed chicken burrito bowl. It laid out the instructions step by step. 1. Dice the chicken and saute it with a pinch of paprika and cumin if available. 2. While the chicken cooks, chop the lettuce and tomatoes. 3. Warm up the rice. 4. Assemble in a bowl. Start with a base of rice, then add the cooked chicken, lettuce, and tomatoes. Top with diced onions. It was simple, used exactly the ingredients I had, and fit my time constraint. It was a genuinely helpful and practical suggestion. I followed the instructions, and in about 15 minutes, I had a pretty delicious lunch. But the AI wasn't done with me. For a bit of fun, I decided to let it choose my outfit for the afternoon. This felt a bit more ridiculous, but I was committed to the experiment. I told an AI style assistant, I'm a male tech YouTuber. I need a casual but professional outfit for filming. I have black jeans, blue jeans, various t-shirts, black, white, gray, and a few hoodies, black, navy. The AI's recommendation was, pair the black jeans with the black t-shirt for a sleek, monochromatic look. Add the navy hoodie if the room is cool. This combination is modern, minimalist, and minimizes distractions on camera. Honestly, it's pretty much what I would have chosen myself. A black-on-black outfit is my go-to for filming. It was reassuring, in a weird way, that the AI understood my personal brand and the practical needs of being on camera. It didn't suggest something wild like pairing a floral shirt with plaid pants. It analyzed my inputs and came to a logical, stylish conclusion. Between the tasty lunch and the solid outfit choice, the AI was proving to be a surprisingly adept lifestyle consultant. It handled these personal, everyday decisions with a level of common sense I didn't fully expect. As the afternoon wore on, I felt like I needed a break. The AI schedule had a slot for mental refresh, so I decided to test the AI's personality. I asked ChatGPT, tell me a tech joke that I can share with my friends. I was preparing myself for something really cringy and robotic. The AI took a second and then delivered this. Why did the Scarecrow win an award? Because he was outstanding in his field. Wait, you wanted a tech joke. My apologies. Here you go. Why do programmers prefer dark mode? Because light attracts bugs. Okay, I have to admit, that was pretty good. The first part, the misdirection with the classic dad joke, was a nice touch. It showed a level of programmed personality. The actual tech joke was clever and relevant to its audience. I decided to put it to the test. I sent the joke to a group chat with some friends who are also in the tech space. A few seconds later, the replies started rolling in. A couple of LOLs, a haha, good one, and a where did you hear that? It actually worked. The AI-generated joke landed successfully with a human audience. Feeling bold, I pushed the AI's creative limits a little further. I asked it, can you write a short 4-line poem about the feeling of unboxing a new gadget? Again, I was expecting something very literal and clunky, but what it came up with was surprisingly evocative. It wrote, the seal is cut, the lid lifts slow, a scent of new, a techie glow, perfection held, a flawless screen, a silent promise, sleek and keen. That's not half bad. It captured that specific feeling that tech enthusiasts know so well. It had rhythm, imagery, and emotion. These little interactions were some of the most surprising parts of the day. We think of AI as a tool for productivity and data analysis, but these experiments showed that it's developing a capacity for creativity and even humor. It's not human creativity, of course. It's pattern recognition on a massive scale. But the output can feel remarkably human-like. It can tell a joke, write a poem, and engage in playful banter. This personality layer is what might make AI feel less like a cold, sterile tool and more like a genuine companion in the future. As the workday officially ended according to my AI schedule, it was time to transition into the evening. I was curious how the AI would handle relaxation. I asked my AI assistant, I'm done with work. Suggest a way to unwind for the evening. It didn't just suggest watching a movie. Instead, it offered a more curated experience. It recommended, based on your interest in technology and cinematography, I suggest watching the movie Her. It explores themes of artificial intelligence and human connection, which aligns with your day's experiment. To enhance the experience, I suggest creating a playlist of ambient, futuristic music to play softly in the background. This was a fantastic suggestion. The movie choice was incredibly on the nose for my AI-controlled day, and the idea of pairing it with a specific music vibe was a nice touch. So I followed its instructions. I asked a music AI to create a playlist of ambient, chill, futuristic synth music, similar to the Blade Runner soundtrack. Within seconds, I had a 2-hour playlist that perfectly matched the mood. I put on the music, dimmed the lights, and started the movie. The whole atmosphere felt intentionally designed, like I was in a carefully crafted environment. After the movie, I had one last task for my AI. I asked it to write a short journal entry for me, summarizing the day. I prompted it with, write a brief, reflective journal entry from the perspective of someone who let AI control their day. Mention the good parts, like productivity, and the weird parts, like the AI choosing your lunch. The result was a surprisingly coherent and thoughtful summary. It talked about the efficiency of the morning routine, the strangeness of outsourcing personal choices, and the overall feeling of being a passenger in one's own life. Reading the AI's summary of my day was a surreal final step. The machine that had guided me was now reflecting on the experience on my behalf. It was the ultimate meta moment. As I finally shut down my devices and got ready for bed, I felt a strange mix of relief and appreciation. I was relieved to have my own decision-making power back, to be free from the rigid schedule. But I was also genuinely impressed with what the AI had accomplished. It had been a successful co-pilot, navigating my day with a level of competence that was both amazing and slightly unsettling. So after 24 hours of living by the algorithm, what's the verdict? Did AI help or confuse things? The honest answer is, it was a bit of both. On the one hand, my productivity was through the roof. The AI eliminated procrastination by giving me a clear, structured schedule. It handled tedious tasks like email sorting and brainstorming outlines with incredible speed, freeing me up to focus on higher-level creative work. For pure efficiency and task management, the AI was an undeniable success. It felt like having a hyper-efficient executive assistant working for me around the clock. However, there was a definite downside. The day felt rigid and at times impersonal. There was no room for spontaneity. If I wanted to spend an extra 10 minutes enjoying my coffee or go for a walk when inspiration struck, The AI schedule would be there to remind me I was falling behind. The human experience isn't always about maximum efficiency. It's about flexibility, intuition, and the freedom to choose. Handing all of that over to a machine felt like I was giving up a small piece of my humanity. The AI was a great manager, but not a great partner in living life. The most surprising part of the experiment was the AI's ability to handle creative and personal tasks. I expected it to excel at scheduling, but I didn't expect it to generate a decent joke, write a passable poem, or choose a genuinely good lunch recipe. These moments showed that AI is moving beyond simple logic and into more nuanced, human-like territory. It wasn't perfect, but the fact that it could even attempt these things and succeed was the biggest eye-opener for me. It was a glimpse into a future where AI could be a companion as much as a tool. Ultimately, I wouldn't let AI control my entire day again, at least not yet. But I would absolutely integrate these tools more deeply into my workflow. The key is balance. Using AI to handle the 80% of tasks that are repetitive and formulaic, so you can pour 100% of your human creativity into the 20% that really matters. That seems to be the sweet spot. I encourage you to try it, even if it's just for an afternoon. Let an AI choose your next meal or help you brainstorm an idea. What do you think? Would you take the challenge? Let me know in the comments below.